to look at number 1 with me. The answer is D. Any questions about how we got D? Are we good? Okay. Number 2, we got D. Questions about that one? Okay. There's a special case. Okay. Number 3, A, B, and E. Questions about that one? Okay. Number 18. Number 4 is 18. Questions about that? Okay. So if x squared, those of you who have not completed your homework, you might want to write down number 4 on that page if you don't have it. So I've got f of x equals x squared plus kx plus 81. What I know is this is a perfect square trinomial. What would this number need to be in order to make that happen? Okay? So what I'm looking for is this perfect square trinomial. Okay? This is a plus. Okay? Remember, if it is a perfect square trinomial, all I have to do is root the first one and root the last one. What is the root of x squared? X is correct because, remember, those two things cancel. What is the root of 81? What is it? 9. Okay, so this is how I get this part. Now, I'm going to multiply it out to find out what this should be. So, x times x is x squared. X times 9 is positive 9x. 9 times x is positive 9x. 9 times 9 is positive 81. When I combine my like terms, I get x squared plus 18x plus 81. That is where I get my 18. Questions? Okay, so if you have a problem like this, perfect square means I can square the first and the last terms, and then you just want to multiply it out to get what that b value would be. Okay, excellent. Now turn over to where you did the even problems for homework 2 through 24 and ask me questions. Even if you have it, you just want to make sure you have the right answer. Yes, ma'am. Number 14 is a good one. Okay, so number 14. Again, those of you that did not complete your homework, you might want to write this down if you don't have it already. Negative k to the 5th plus 4k cubed plus 2k squared. The directions say factor each completely. When I look at factoring, the first thing I always do is check for a what? GCF. Absolutely. Now, Number-wise, this is a 1, so there's not a number GCF. What about my variables? Can I take out a K? They all have a K, so I can take K out. How many K's do they all have in common? They all have at least 2. If you didn't get this right, you need to be writing this down. So, they all have at least 2, so I'm going to divide out this K squared. So K squared, remember that GCF always goes on the outside of your parentheses. Negative K to the 5 minus 2 is 3. Because remember, when I divide, I subtract those exponents. Plus 4. K to the 3 minus 2 is one that I don't write. Plus 2 to the 2 minus 2 is 0. So it's gone. This is our final answer. That is factored completely. Sometimes it really is just taking out that greatest common factor. Nice. Yeah, see, that's why we do this. Just as a reminder. Ask me another one. Somebody ask me another one. Let's go. All right. Since you know what you're doing and you've got them all correct and you're not concerned, I want you to look at number 16. And somebody tell me what you got for your answer. 9n squared minus 54n plus 80. Lindsay, what you get for your answer? And how did you get that? Okay. So 3n minus 8, 3n minus 10 is correct. Raise your hand if you have no clue how that answer was gotten. Thank you. Product sum. My product is A times C, which is 720, and negative 54. So I know my signs are the same because my product is positive. And I know they both have to be negative because my sum is negative. So they both should be minuses right there. Now, I am not going to write all the factors of 720 because it's a lot and it's going to take a hot minute. So what I am going to do, though, is use my calculator to find them. I'm not using small numbers like 1, 2. I'm not using any of those. I am going to start with 10. So 720 divided by 10 is 72. 72 plus 10 not going to get me to 54. So I'm just going to keep going. I know 11 won't work. Let me try 12. 12 works, but 60 plus 12 is 72, right? And I'm just going to keep going. And 720, let's do divided by 15 is 48. Still not there. Still quite a bit away. 720 divided by 22. I'm going to jump there. That doesn't work. 720 divided by 25 does not work. Let me do 24. Oh, 24 works, and it's 24 times 30. And when I add those, I get 54. Now, both of these would need to be negative to give me that negative 54. These are my factors. You don't have to write them out until you find the one that works. You can just use your calculator. Okay? Now, I make them fractions. Always over A. So 24 over A and 30 over the A. If you don't have number 16, you better be writing this down. Okay? Then, as always, we simplify fractions. That would be 8 over 3. And this one is going to be 10 over 3. Always simplify those fractions. And then remember now, it is constant over coefficient. The denominator goes with the variable. The numerator goes on the end. Okay? If you don't have that, write that down. If you don't have it correct, write that down. That is a reminder of how to factor those. There was no GCF, by the way. So that's what you got to do. And especially when you're working with bigger numbers, you're going to want to just use your calculator and not write all of them down. Okay? Very good. Other questions? I'm going to start asking you what you got for answers. Yes. Number 22. That's a good one. All right. Number 22. Negative x minus 5y equals 14. And then y equals x plus 2. Okay. The directions for this problem solve the system. So again, I've got two lines on the same coordinate plane. Where do they intersect? So if I'm going to solve the system, I'm either going to eliminate or I'm going to substitute. Which one are we going to do here? Eliminate or substitute? Substitute. Because I already know what y is. It's this right here. And I'm going to substitute it into that y so that I can get my y value. So here's what I've got. Negative x minus 5 times y, which is x plus 2, equals 14. So if they're both in standard form, we're going to eliminate, but if one of them is in slope-intercept form, I'm going to substitute. Now, I just have to distribute that negative 5. Negative x minus 5x minus 10 equals 14. Combine my like terms. I'll give you a moment to get that written down. Okay. Minus 10 here means plus 10 on the opposite side. That's a 0. Negative 6x equals 24. Questions? Divide by negative 6. There's my 1. X equals negative 4. Just kidding about that 30. Negative 4. So there's my x value. Okay. How do I find the y value? Substitute it in because I know what x is. So I'm going to take that negative 4 and we're going to put it into the one where y is already isolated. So y equals x, which is -4, plus 2. So y is -2. Now, I know what x and I know what y, I know what those are. What is my solution? -4, -2. Very good. X value, then y value, in parentheses with a comma in between. And that's where those two lines are going to intersect. Nice. Ask me another one. Number 20. I like that one. Here's number 20. 25p squared minus 40p plus 16. As I look at these numbers, there's not a GCF, but I see 25 and I see 16. What do you know about the numbers 25 and 16? They're perfect squares, aren't they? What is the root of 25? 5. I need it to be a minus. And what is the root of 16? If you look at your first term, which is a coefficient, and your last term, which should be a constant, if they are perfect squares, you have a perfect square binomial. So look always and see if they're perfect squares. Okay? Everybody look at your number 6. How many terms are in your answer? 4? If you have 4 terms in your answer, I'm going to work that one. Number 6, here we go. 11p to the 4th minus 5p minus 12. Oops, not copies. Minus negative 10p cubed plus 4 plus 10p. Look between the parentheses. If there is an operation there, that's what you're performing. If there is no operation there and they're just next to each other, you're multiplying. But I'm subtracting these, therefore, I'm combining like terms. But first, I have to distribute that -1. Now, if it's a plus, I don't have to distribute a +1 because it changes nothing. But a -1 changes all the signs. So now this one's positive and those two are negatives. Then I combine my like terms. Oops, I forgot my cube on that one. P to the 4th just comes down because I don't have another one. Negative 5p minus 10p is negative 15p. Negative 12 minus 4 is negative 16. Positive 10p cubed. Questions. Combining like terms. If there's a plus or a minus between your parentheses, you're combining like terms. Then it must be written in standard form. 11p to the 4th. What goes next? Thank you. And then, yes. finally, and that is your final answer. Excellent. Questions? Okay. That will take care of our review for the polynomial homework.